Sup battlers, Sam Battlefields here. Started this, thanks for joining me, of course, on the journey, CLA, coaching, etc. Realised this morning I took a back step. I tore up my head on the weekend, and yeah, so I don't. If you're if there's any other bald kings out there like myself, you'll know just how thin that fucking skin is up there, and yeah, you get even a little bit of a nick, shaving cut or something, and you can end up looking like bloody what's his name, Christian Bale from Psycho, American Psycho. But you know, just it was dripping down my face. But yeah, no, I wanted to have a bit of a chat today. Had some really good session this morning. I didn't get myself involved. The boys, there was even numbers, and I kind of wanted to coach from the outside looking in. I had a session intention going in. Not that I don't normally, but I was listening to Cal Jones and with Bren the other day, and he just reminded me to be a bit more connected with a few things. So as in, like, with the session intention overall, I used to really try and make it so that a bit of the not differential learning into I forget what I've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about it, interleaving, that's it. So you know, there was when I was doing a lot of research into that, and you know, implementing things there, there was a heap of I suppose practical application where I would make it so that the lessons would all have interlinked features, and I was very explicit with it, and I think I think in many ways that became ingrained as I went along, but it's always good to, as in, it became implicit. Implicit, maybe not the right word. Ingrained's a good word. You know, unconscious, I suppose. Yeah, unconscious. It just became a part of my practice design, because I was very conscious of it at one stage of implementing in that certain way. But yeah, listening to Cal Jones, he had a criticism of coaches in the space. So I just brought it back to the front of my mind, and yeah, it was good, sort of reminding myself that I would have this kind of interwoven session intention. So everything from standing to whatever we're working on, and how it sort of connects. So it's not just kind of like dumping someone in a position and kind of letting them go as such. But yeah, so really good session. The guys were stoked with it. I definitely opened up. So I started out quite constrained, and opened up the affordances by opening up the goals throughout the session, and one of the kind of overarching things that I was looking to do is, you know, really sort of hammer home that if you're not putting pressure on someone on top, then they can get up. So it was really cool seeing people getting up. Another thing that was really cool to see was, you know, the game was just put feet on them, while the person on top is just trying to get past the legs, right, and get sort of two knees to the side of the body or either side of the body, mount or side control, essentially. But it was really fucking cool, man, to see what I can see now is those snapshots in time that are labelled as techniques now. So, you know, the delahevers, the tripods, the this, the that. You can see now that the feet aren't as frantic and they're being placed in places that make proper sense. Yeah. Then those positions, those techniques, those you know, as I said, the labels of these techniques / positions, they kind of come out, but it's, as Andy said, which was really cool. Andy said that, you know, it's all the stuff in between. Like, it doesn't really matter what you call these things. Your goal is to keep your feet on the person and be controlling them with your feet on the person at all times. So it doesn't really matter what you're calling them. It's all that, it's all the transitional stuff in between that you pick up. You don't pick it up through learning multiple different guards. You pick it up through playing games like this. And it's, yeah, as I said, it's like when I first saw Ridwan do a single leg in a game, in a roll. It was emergent behavior, and it was like textbook. You would have looked at it and gone, that was fucking perfect. But it was in a live roll, right? Textbook in inverted commas. Anyway, yeah, so it was a really cool session. Once again, it was having a really cool, seeing, and this will segue, it was a really cool war between Levi and Andy. I can see already that, like, the guard retention stuff, but also the guard passing, you know, it's leveled up in the past few weeks since we've started. I can even see in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, but like when I came back, it's only been sort of 3 days, and they were already sort of better at keeping the feet on the people and that sort of thing. But today, it was, as I said, like, it looked crisper. It looked like configurations of positions of techniques, right? Anyway, I want to finalize or finish up with, I'm going to trademark this, I think. So, you know, this is IP at the moment, so, you know, if you think you're going to take it off me, please do, and spread it wide, but just give me credit. We always talk about in CLA, particularly CLA for grappling and martial arts, the idea of taking a slice of the game, and it's like, you know, this works well with me, Sam Battlefields. The reason why it came to me was I've said it before, where we're playing a game and someone maybe is just gaming the game, you know, maybe the game is don't put you win if they get their chest on your back, right? And so the person flops on their back and lays down so that the person can't get their chest on their back, and they go, I win because that person can't win. And it's like, yeah, okay, like, let's look at it in context. You may have won the battle, but in the larger context of the war, you've lost the war, yeah? So it's kind of, and when I was talking with one of the guys, because he did something that allowed me to, if it was an ongoing role, I would have beaten him. And some of this is obviously a coaching thing. So I'm not saying that this was if you're going to game the system, game the system. It's, you know, fucking people do it all the time. In grappling, in MMA, you know, like I think when GSP started up, you know, he's like, I called him a blanket. Well, not started up, actually. Later on in the piece, I called him a blanket because his way of winning was he would lay on top of you. And at the time, those the criteria for winning was, you know, control time, and well, it still is, but in that case, he controlled him, and he controlled him on top, and, you know, that was a win. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic. So what I'm going to start calling these things is either skirmishes or battles, right? So the skirmish might be something smaller, like today we were just trying to turn the knee away from turn the knees away from us. So that's a skirmish. And a battle would be like the positional sparring type of thing, like most of the constraints taken off, and it's just we're going to be doing like a positional sparring, maybe with a constraint here or there. But yeah, I'm going to talk in skirmishes, battles, and then you know, a grappling match or an MMA match, whichever, is the war, is the overarching. You need, you know, that's when you start talking your overarching strategies, you know, what your strengths and weaknesses are, that sort of thing. But as we're preparing for the war, then we are learning through minor battles, skirmishes, etc. So yeah, and it works well with my name. So Sam Battlefields, going to be renaming task-based games as battles and skirmishes, depending on the size of the game. I just thought of skirmishes, by the way. But yeah, battles, and yeah, the entire game is war. Much love. Peace.